name is Prasanna. I'm primarily a musician. I play guitar. I compose music. I record albums. I do film scores and many things. I teach a lot. And I also have a background coming from India. I play traditional Indian Carnatic music on the guitar. I also play rock, jazz, and many other mainstream Western styles of music. I grew up in a very small town in Tamil Nadu in India called Ranipet when I was about 5 years old. I saw someone, my neighbor, play the guitar, and I got hooked onto it and said, okay, I need to play the guitar. And my parents said, okay, you want to play the guitar? We'll try to find a way. It didn't happen immediately, but we moved to a big town, Chennai. And soon after, I found a way where I could take guitar lessons from a family friend. And I quickly realized that I was comfortable with this identity as a guitar player. There seemed to be no wall between me and the guitar. I took to it instantly and the guitar took to me instantly. And so my journey started. I grew up in a traditional middle-class South Indian community. And the traditional classical music that is part of our community is Carnatic music. So it was there somewhere in the family. And then of course India, everybody knows India is the land of films. So I grew up with the music of Ilayaraja, one of the greatest composers in the world according to me, and truly prolific Indian film composer. But then we are talking about the early 80s where stuff was coming in from America and other places. A friend would pop up and come and say like, hey, check out this Deep Purple song, Smoke on the Water, it's very cool. I said, okay, why don't I play Smoke on the Water? And somebody will come and say like, I just got this new album by Carlos Santana, you should check it out. This guy can play guitar like anything. I'll listen to it and say, well, why don't I play Carlos Santana songs? My sister was learning Carnatic singing and Carnatic traditional veena. Yeah, all this was going on at the same time, and I said, well, I play the guitar anyway, whatever it is that I play, why don't I try Carnatic music? Underneath this was a deep layer of support from my parents who did not make judgmental decisions about what music is good, what I should play, what I should not play. I think this is especially important because growing up in the kind of setting that I did, where formal school education and college education is placed a huge premium emphasis, I was lucky that I was good in that too. A measure of assurance for my parents that I was in the right track and that music was not taking away anything that they need to worry about. And fast forward a few years, I was really fortunate to get into one of the topmost engineering colleges in the world today, Indian Institute of Technology. They have an entrance examination which is so difficult to crack, and the acceptance rate for that college is less than 1.5% or something. All I knew was I had to work hard for that entrance exam, and that developed my thinking and it kind of shaped my personality to be able to handle very rigorous duties of balancing 4 or 5 things at the same time, going out and playing Led Zeppelin covers, around India, and then come back and play your Carnatic music performances or like Carnatic teaching with your traditional guru, and at the same time preparing for an engineering degree were all very valuable lessons in how I could optimize my experiences and do many things and enjoy it. I have a degree in naval architecture, but I did decide that I need to dedicate myself to music. It's just so much fun. I didn't think that I was able to be a great engineer and do music on the weekends. And I think the guitar became a focal point, and the guitar became a recurring motif in my life. The guitar represents so many things coming together. I was so lucky that I picked up the guitar and not the veena or the trombone. And I think that gave me everything. The fact that I could play rock and roll, the fact that I could go and play some jazz, the fact that I could play Carnatic music, and all of it comes out on the same instrument was, I think, central to my development. When I came to America as probably a 22-year-old to Berklee College of Music, I was just hungry. I was hungry to learn. I was hungry to enjoy what I have learned and present it to people. And Berklee College of Music gave me the chance to interact with people from everywhere. And I was eager to share my music, my culture with everybody, and to take something back and bring it back into my music and my culture and my person. I knew that I want to play like myself. I already was playing like myself. I might have been raw and crude or whatever. I was always trying. And that myself also had a cultural identity to it. And thankfully enough, I had Carnatic music. I had such an evolved art form that I had been studying for many years. I viewed education as the means through which I could develop those things, almost like in being in a laboratory, where I would try all my Carnatic ragas, over Miles Davis tunes and this and that, and it was such a fun time. But I knew that my identity was being shaped. Finding a path where you are inclusive about everything all around you is proven to be fascinating for me. For example, Carnatic music is viewed as a very austere form of music. Reggae is music that the body has a big part in conveying. Every December, I perform at the Carnatic Music Festival in Chennai, which is one of the biggest music festivals in the world. I think they have about 12,000 concerts in 3 weeks or something. The Carnatic concerts, for example, would be with traditional Carnatic percussion instruments. And then right after that could be a gig in a jazz club with a guitar, bass, drums, and saxophone. But in some cases it would be my work integrating all these different musics, performing all these kinds of music, and of course playing with musicians from around the world. So many great musicians and wonderful human beings. I am still fascinated when I read the list of people I've worked with. My biggest passion for music turned out to be composing. As much as I view myself as a guitar player and that identity is really rooted into me, in private I tell people I think more like a composer than as a player. Because to me the direct correlation between connecting cultures and composition is very real. I could compose things that I cannot play on a guitar. I could take inspiration from musics that I may not be able to perform but put together. And then I also was, started composing for films. Composed many scores for big feature films and also documentaries. Again, in India, in America, and other places. So the idea of music for visual media is fascinating. And being a film composer is something that I truly enjoy. Besides all these things, I've also been very passionate about teaching. education has been very central to my life. I would point out three forms of education that has defined my experience and has helped me grow. One is individual learning, like you learn from a guru, which is very traditional in India. And I learned from one of the greatest violinists from India, Kanyakumari. And I still study with her for the last 26 years on a one-on-one basis. And I also went to Indian Institute of Technology, so I have a strong education in math and science. And then when I went to Berklee College of Music, the same thing, but this time it's in music. So my personality has been a result of these three kinds of education, and that's what I do in my music too. And I have also been individually mentoring a lot of musicians. Teaching people on an individual one-on-one basis is something that is central to me, because that's one part of the triangle of education that I mentioned. You can see yourself in your student much more than in yourself most of the time, and it's a tremendously lasting experience that you see that you're communicating a part of you and empowering yourself in the process and the student. So I have private students from every part of the world and of every style, every level of musicianship, and I enjoy teaching beginning musicians as much as like some of the world's most advanced players. And I'm quite selfish about the fact that I learn a lot about myself, good and bad, and also about music itself, about community, about spirit, about how to get things going together by teaching. So it's a big part of what I do. Apart from just being a musician, I'm fascinated with entrepreneurs. Many entrepreneurs have become inspiring figures for me, and I like the idea of entrepreneurship not just being in business, but being as a way of life, as the fundamental force for someone to bring out new ideas that can just change the world at its best form, and at the very least can change communities. Establishing Swarnabhoomi Academy of Music and creating a chance for musicians in India to have the kind of world-class learning that they can get in America or Europe was a start, and it was just a tremendously thrilling experience to be part of something like that. And I'd like to extend that experience and the experience I've had before, and now to focus on something that's bigger than me, number one, and bigger than just my playing, and something that's meaningful to society at large. Through what form, I do not know exactly, but that's what I'm working on. I'm just trying to observe what's going on in the world with respect to music, with respect to film, visual media, with respect to how businesses evolve, and what sort of message is it that really touches people when you start an initiative, and where does all this go as we get into this explosive world of entertainment and everything else, and at the same time keeping social upliftment and doing some giving back as a core thinking. I think I'm ready to process that sort of questions in my head, and of course music will always be at the front of it all, but I think music as a vehicle for something larger is even bigger than music itself, and I'm going to put my mind to it. That's my next steps.